Hello, and welcome to the show. This is episode 7 of the Life of Gaming podcast. And my name is Jamie, and I'm the captain on this ship of video game awesomeness. And you all know my co-pilot, the Thor to my Captain America, Mr. Josh Brandt. How you doing today, sir?
Good. that was nice, yeah, James. I like that.
I thought, you know, in the
why did I become Thor?
Because of your beard. Thor is the one with the beard.
Yeah, I guess sort of the stubbly beard.
Right,
but I'll
right.
take
So
that.
I figured that worked. The other one I had thought up, I didn't use. I was going to say the Jarvis to my Iron Man. I've got all sorts of Marvel things running around in my head.
Yes, sir. Would you like a latte with that?
There you go. Are you going to be checking out the Avengers this weekend, sir?
No, you know me. I'll wait until it goes to the cheap theater, then I'll take my family. Well, that's how we do now.
That works. That works.
Yeah, $250 a ticket.
Yeah, I guess there's a little price when you go the day or the weekend of the show, I guess.
Yeah. Now, Star Wars, I will go see that day one when the new Star Wars comes out, but I can wait for the Avengers.
Set, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I'm pretty excited. We'll see how it turns out. I've heard it's not as good as the first one, but it should still be a pretty good movie.
Oh, yeah.
With the Avengers movies, though, I've seen every single Marvel movie except I never saw Thor: The Dark World.
Really?
I never saw that one, so I never heard like good or bad things about it, so I just forgot about it.
It's sort of, it fits in the middle. I mean, it's good parts, bad parts. But
yeah. Well, you guys, thanks for coming and listening to the show. You're probably wondering what's going on since we didn't have our normal, week-long hiatus in there of not having a show. We actually have some pretty big news today, a pretty big announcement. Drum roll, please.
That was loud.
we are going to become a weekly show. So all you people have been asking for it, we're actually turning it into a weekly show. So this is pretty big news for us. You know, now we got to plan a show more times, double the amount of times we used to.
I think I just heard crickets chirping. Right.
But that's okay. We're up for the challenge, I think. What do you say, sir?
I think we can handle it. Let's hope so.
Or actually, we're going to kind of change the format up a little bit. What we're going to do, we're still going to have guests on the show. This episode is just going to be me and Brant sort of, talking back and forth. But what we're going to do with our guests, we're going to keep having them on, twice a month. So every other episode, we're going to have a guest. But in between, we're going to do a little more experimental stuff. Like today, like I said, it's going to be me and Brant. In the future, I know we've got some other plans coming up. Like, my brother-in-law, Matt, he's a huge Halo guy, and I've got some other friends that are pretty big Halo people. And I know that, with Halo 5 coming out, we're going to do a show just about Halo and talk about the lore of Halo, not only the games, but the books and the shows and all that. And we have other things planned as well. We've got an E3 show coming up soon, so hopefully you guys check that out as well. But we have other plans in the works too. So, like I said, every other episode is going to be a little more experimental. So who knows what you'll get?
The best of the beard.
That's right. Hopefully it turns out pretty well, not a total train wreck. But so, Mr. Brandt, I guess just sort of get down to things outside of the video game world. What have you been doing lately, man?
Outside of the video game world, well, I got Eli and T-Ball.
Oh,
and that's been going wonderfully.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Is he enjoying it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was really nervous at first, but once he got that first hit, got in there, saw the kids playing around, he's great now.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's been a lot of fun.
Now, is that like his first? Is that his first team sport, or has he been playing other stuff before?
No, this is actually the first time he's ever been in an organized sort of the team. I guess it's organized. I mean, T-ball, they're just sort of running around having fun, But good way to learn the mechanics. I've been practicing with him with that.
Awesome.
My other son, Titus, he's sort of like the loner type of guy. He just sort of sticks to himself. But he's a lot of fun. I've been still working physical therapy at my place. There's actually a new facility opening like a minute away from where I live.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I'm going to get transferred to, say August, September. Awesome. So I can't wait for that. I mean, driving 30 minutes, which still isn't that bad, but bad. 30 minutes to a minute walk.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean,
I can see it from my house.
That's sort of like what happened to me with my last job, because driving back and forth for an hour, and then when my wife and I lived on the other side of town, I went from driving an hour to driving less than 2 minutes to get to work. Now we've moved, into our home, so it's about a 10-minute drive now, but still, it beats an hour, and it beats half hour too. So that's
I can't imagine that.
Man,
yes.
For me, man, I've been so busy around the house. Like I said, it's my wife and I. It's our first home, and we bought it in the fall, so we didn't really have a lot of time to do any yard work and things like that. It's starting to get cold. So now that it's springtime, we've been doing nothing but yard work. Like the past few weeks, we've been ripping out bushes, we've been cutting down trees, and planting flowers and just basic stuff like mowing the lawn. And we've been so busy. And we have even more to do this
weekend. You posted that picture on Facebook of that huge, what was that, a tree or something?
It was a bush, dude. It was like 4 or 5 bushes that just grew out of control, so it looked like one giant bush. But when we took the thing out, dude, it took us forever because, originally we were just going to cut it back. We cut it back, use the trimmers and the chainsaw and all that because it was so big. And then, but it just looked like garbage because it had overgrown so much that all that was really left were like these little sticks sticking out of the ground. It looked like garbage. We're just going to pull these out. But little did we know how big of a problem that was going to be, because our whole yard, for some reason, especially where all the bushes and flowers and stuff are, it's all rocks. It's like 90% rocks down there, because you dig a little bit, you hit a rock. Dig a little bit, you hit a rock. It's just all rocks. And where these bushes are, it was behind our fenced area, so it's not like we could get a car in there to rip them out or anything. We had to do it by hand. So we had shovels and we had an axe. And we had we were just sort of digging at these bushes, and dude, it took us a good 2 solid weekends to get those out.
By the time I get back to your house, there's all these potholes everywhere. We had to remove all the rocks.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we're working on. We have one more tree to take down, but other than that, the outside work is pretty much done. So next time you stop by, man, it's going to be hopefully a lot different, a lot better.
Yeah. Oh, man, Erica has a big workday plan for us tomorrow. I don't even know what that all entails, but I better be worried. No, so the guys across the street were like, hey, we're just going to be sitting out there drinking some beer around the campfire, watching work, and can I come over there, please?
You'll see Erica mowing the lawn. You're just sitting in the lawn.
I'll hide in their house. I'm going to hide in your house, and she'll be like, where is Josh? Where is
You're just hiding the shadows.
I love you, Erica. I love you.
It's probably a good thing that she's not listening to the show right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she's not here, guys. So I won't be drug off. So
right. Well, guys, with that, we are going to jump into the news section of our show and what we like to call Captain's Log. Okay, guys, today we're just going to hit a couple stories. Most of our stories aren't really console specific, but, I'll hit those first. The first thing with PlayStation, Sony announced that lifetime sales for the PS4 has hit 22.3 million units, which is quite a bit. I mean, compared to I don't even know where Xbox is right now. I think they're maybe in the low teens. I think last time I heard they were 10 or 11. So the Wii U is about the same, but I know the Wii U is a whole year behind. So, they had a whole year head start, which they kind of lost. But I mean,
that's gone.
Yeah. If anybody has any question about PlayStation winning right now, I mean, this pretty much blows that out of the water. I mean, Sony is destroying everything.
Every month except for, what was it, December, November?
Yeah, right.
They
when
have
Xbox had that
Xbox.
Christmas, when they first lowered the price of the Xbox, it was number one for 2 months. But after that, I mean, it's pretty much all PS4 again.
And that's crazy. It's still that same price point. They're still outselling.
I know. They're
I thought Xbox would actually. They made a lot of right decisions since their big screw ups and all that, but yeah, I guess Sony just has all the momentum.
And
with Bloodborne coming out, I think that helped too.
And also with that though, I mean, just looking at PlayStation, I know you're on the PlayStation side, so maybe you'll have a different story on this. But outside of Bloodborne, what console-specific things do you see that are, like exclusive to Sony that's going to be pulling in more people? Because right now, all the big games coming this year, especially with things like Uncharted delayed, things like Batman and stuff like that, they're going to be awesome games, but they're multi-platform.
Yeah.
What exclusively does Sony have right now?
Well, I think not many people are mentioning this, but Persona 5.
Okay.
I think that's coming out at the end of the year, and that is, that's the next coming of, the biggest, what is it, Pokemon or something?
Sure.
It could take off like that. It's that good. And those games are just amazing anyway. Persona 4 Golden for the Vita.
Yeah.
James, you just gotta buy a Vita for that. It's just that good.
Is it now?
But yeah, that's one game I can't wait for. And then Uncharted 4 is coming out next year.
Yeah,
so.
That's a lot of really good games that are coming out are all getting delayed. So, but as of right now, like I mentioned before, I'm enjoying my Xbox One and my Wii U right now. But there's nothing on the PS4, at least to me, that's saying buy me now. So I'm still sort of waiting for that exclusive game that really hits me, because eventually, I'm going to try to get all three systems. But right now, nothing on the PS4 is really calling out my name.
And that's Bloodborne was that game to me. That's a game I wanted more than anything else. But
and now you can sell your
PS4. Xbox. Never. But yeah, Xbox. Just with exclusives. They're with Halo 5 on the horizon, Tomb Raider. I think Tomb Raider is still going to get delayed into 2016. They haven't announced it yet.
Yeah.
But they need to make sure that game is top notch.
Sure. And that's honestly, of all the games coming out this year, Rise of the Tomb Raider I think is my top game for, as of right now, for what's coming out this year. So if it gets delayed, I'll be a little devastated, but I understand why.
Right. You like Tomb Raider better than Uncharted anyway, don't you?
Well, in certain parts of it. Gameplay-wise, I'd say yes. Story-wise, I guess because, it's the first in this new revised Tomb Raider series, it kind of reminds me of Uncharted 1. Like, Uncharted 1, it was a fun game, the story was good, but Uncharted 2 is where it really took off and the story got awesome. And so that's what I'm kind of looking for with Rise of the Tomb Raider. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, it does. I'm pretty excited for that. And it will come to PS4 eventually, we just don't know when. The other news on PlayStation, if you haven't already done so, it's too late now, but the PT demo got pulled from the PlayStation Store since they canceled Silent Hills. I know, Josh. I know. Man, Konami. I don't know what's going on with them. They're just going crazy. Because they got rid of Kojima, and they removed his name from all the Metal Gear 5 stuff. And then what I heard recently, they put it all back on. So I don't really know what's going on with that. But then he stopped his work on Silent Hills, and then they canceled it. And I was actually looking forward to that game a lot. That PT demo was awesome. I remember coming
when you came over to my house, and I've never seen you that freaked out before.
Right.
When it's that was so.
Dude,
that's like the tech demo I show every house. Like
I just give them a controller. You got to play this, and most of the time they're like, I can't play it anymore, and they give me the controller, so I have to finish it. But, just gotta watch this. That was one of the most. I don't think you'll ever see anything like that again. Maybe down the road, but just how it hit home.
Yeah, it was very experimental, and it was that last year's E3. They're like, here it is, go play it. And they didn't tell anybody what it was. They said the special demo's there, go see it. But
it's incredible.
Question: how much is that demo worth to you? Would you say it's worth $1,800? Because right now,
$11 billion.
Right? Because right now. I guess on eBay, people are trying to sell PlayStation 4s with the PT demo installed, and they've got them listed for up to $1,800.
Oh my gosh!
So if you really want that badly, just go over to Josh's house.
Yeah. My address is no.
We'll cut that part of the show there.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's hilarious.
That's great, but yeah, that demo alone made me want Silent Hill so bad.
Sure.
Like, it shot up the list of games that I'm most anticipated for. Now that there's a chance, they're trying to get petitions and all that. I don't think anything's going to come through, but...
We all know petitions
it's just such a bummer.
Yeah. But what's
his name? Del Toro? Yeah,
Guillermo del
with
Toro,
him and... Kojima never really did anything else outside of Metal Gear much. He did Zone of the Enders.
Yeah, but he did the Silent Hill stuff too, right? I mean, didn't he work on all the other ones?
I don't think he did any other Silent Hill. I think this was his first exclusive Silent Hill that he was doing, and it would have just been amazing to see since he does all the weird stuff in games so well, like when you're like the controller disconnect and things that from the original Metal Gear Solid. I mean, him and working with Del Toro, who does all these awesome, scary things like in Pan's Labyrinth. I mean, that would have been I just can't imagine how good that would have been.
I know. And the funny thing, I mean, that game was always sort of shrouded in mystery because right from the beginning with the PT trailer, no one knew what it was. They had to, beat it a specific way without having any kind of guide for it. And to find out it was a Silent Hills game. And then on top of that, they never said what consoles it was coming out for. They never said when it was going to release. It was just like this big ball of mystery.
Norman Reedus was in it. That's
from Walking Dead. So it's sad to see it go, but at the same time, when you look at the demo, it was all first person, right? And Silent Hills has always been a third person game. So it's kind of weird that the demo was a first person demo, which really wasn't with
Silent Hill 4, the room. Yeah, they had some first person segments in it where you like walked around the room and your room got messed up as you went further in. But other than that, I think that was just like you said, a teaser. The game wasn't going to be like that. Yeah, but even if they pull ideas from that, oh my gosh, it would have been incredible.
Oh man,
Still disappointing.
It's sad to see it go. I agree. And with what Konami's doing, I mean, we'll see what happens to them. It'll be interesting because in America we only really know them for video games, but I guess over in Japan they have so many other things under their belt that if they lost video games, it really wouldn't be that big of a hit to them. So we'll see what happens. But you never know.
Yeah, they're still planning on moving on with Metal Gear.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, that's going out closer to the end of the year.
And it being the same without Kojima, but who knows?
Yeah.
I think it's good that Kojima is going on to projects. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see what he can do with another game.
Exactly. He'll let his
creative
mind,
juices
go crazy. Exactly. But to get on from the PlayStation news, Xbox, I mean, the only real specific Xbox thing that's happened over the past week, the Xbox 360 got a system update. And you can hook up external hard drives to it before, but now it allows up to 2 terabytes of space. So they've kind of fixed the interface to make it more, to prepare you for the Xbox One. So when you upgrade, you'll be good to go. So I mean, that's interesting for anyone that still has 360 and running out of space, or you want to go fully digital on that. It's been harder to do because you had to buy those specific Xbox 360 hard drives. You couldn't buy anything else. So now it's nice to have that option to have that external hard drive. That gives more people more options with that. So that's pretty nice. And I know, Brant, you had a 360 back in the day. Did you ever have a problem with your hard drive filling up on that?
Not really. My PS3, I put in 250 gig, and it hasn't been much of a problem. I mean, I've run out of space now, but it's never been as much of a problem with the PS4 on the PS4. I mean, I already have to delete games, and you just need to get a bigger hard drive, get a next-gen system if you plan to game a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and honestly, that's one thing with the 360 and now. The 360 games are so much smaller. You don't really have the size issues like you do now. When you install something, it's 40, 50 gigs, So, I mean, that's a pretty big amount of space.
Yeah.
But with games back then, they were much smaller, so I don't really think you'll need a 2 terabyte. If you have a 2 terabyte external hard drive, I'd say put it on your Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean, it just blows. Some of those games, though, like Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, I think that's a huge install for PS4, but why isn't it for PS? I mean, there has to be a way, I think, to compress the file. Or they're just too lazy. I mean, Assassin's Creed Unity was 50 gigs. There has to be a way they can shrink that. But I guess they're just not.
That's a real problem. Yeah, I mean, that's a real problem I'm having with my Xbox One right now. Like, I went ahead and bought Wolfenstein: The New Blood, the Old Blood, the new DLC coming out for Wolfenstein: The New Order. And it was, I believe it was
New Order.
20 gigs, I believe. And even with that, my hard drive was like 98%, so I had to go on there and just start deleting a bunch of stuff. I'm like, well, I hope I don't come back to this anytime soon. So I had to go and start deleting games. So I'm at the point where I have to buy an external hard drive from Xbox One soon. So we'll see when that gets in the budget.
Yeah.
But real quick, on to some Nintendo news. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Originally, they came out, they said, it's not coming to Wii U. And people were all bummed out because, Wii U really didn't have that third-party support. But Activision came out and said, hey, there's still hope. It might still come to Wii U. So that will be nice to get some more third-party support on the Wii U. The other thing with Nintendo right now, they just announced they're doing a Splatoon Nintendo Direct on Tuesday, May 7th at 10 a.m. Eastern. So if you want to learn more about Splatoon, they're going to have a direct for that. They just recently had that Xenoblade Direct, and it was only 8 minutes long, which is crazy short for a Direct. So hopefully the Splatoon Direct's a little bit longer.
Yeah.
The other thing with Nintendo, real quick, just to cap off this part of the news, with Shovel Knight coming out on Xbox One, it's on PS4, PS3, it's pretty much everywhere now. And the Xbox got Battletoads, and the PlayStation version got Kratos. But Nintendo, even though it had the game much, much earlier than everybody else, it doesn't really have any specific character content like the other games do. And the creator of Shovel Knight came out and said, if they were going to add anybody, he wants to add something just totally off the wall and totally crazy. And he said he would love to add Tingle from The Legend of Zelda into the Wii U version. I don't know
of
if they
all
make him a merchant.
things,
Exactly.
they picked Tingle.
Right.
Really?
But, okay, Brant, if you could put any Nintendo character inside the world of Shovel Knight, who do you think would be a good fit?
Dude, it would just be so awesome if you went into an alternate dimension where he met with Samus.
Okay.
Samus.
Yeah.
That would just be awesome.
You fight Samus, then you knock off her helmet, and then Shovel Knight just freaks out or something. That'd be awesome.
That's not what I thought you would say. Something like Link from Legend of Zelda, because I feel like with Link, he sort of already fits kind of in that universe, and I think it would work out really well.
Yeah, I just thought, hey, go for the moon, man.
Sure. Oh, they could even do something like Shulk from Xenoblade, because they're really pushing Xenoblade right now. That's actually
true.
Could be pretty good. When they could do like an 8-bit Shulk from Xenoblade with a Monado for a sword, dude, that would be awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, you never know, man. Real quick on the more multi-platform news, Playtonic Games, who is made up of mostly people from Rare, who have left Rare. They talked a long time ago about making this new game that was going to be a spiritual successor to Banjo Kazooie, and it was called Project Yooka-Laylee. And they came out and revealed the game this week, and the Kickstarter actually started today. And Project Yooka-Laylee is now a game called Yooka-Laylee. It's actually 2 characters. It is a chameleon named Yuka and a bat named Laylee. And it looks just like Banjo-Kazooie to me, because, you got the winged creature on your back so you can fly and do all these other things. Also, that Kickstarter they started today, it hit its goal in under 40 minutes. So it just blew it out of the water. And it still has like 45 days, I think, to go. Last time I checked, it was well past $1 million. On the site, it's all in pounds. I think it's like 700 and some pounds now, which is, over $1 million. Because right now, I think the U.S. currency to pounds, I think is like $1.5. So it's well over $1 million already. I mean, this game is blowing up.
Say the least.
Now, Brant, is this a game? I mean, you're not a big cartoony mascot platformer guy, are you?
Depends.
Sure.
Depends on the game. I love their original Banjo-Kazooie. What would be hilarious if they just reskin this game with Yooka-Laylee and it was the same exact game as Banjo-Kazooie. That would just be hilarious.
All our money well spent, right?
Yeah, exactly. Backers. And everybody would still love it.
Yeah, they would.
Because that game's awesome.
Dude, that's hilarious. And with that, though, I mean, it's something I'm going to back. I just don't know which amount I want to back yet. I'll probably get it on Xbox One so I can do my Let's Plays and stuff through it. But that's a game I'll definitely look forward to. It's not scheduled to release until October of 2016, though. So that's one thing with Kickstarter. You back it now, but you're going to wait a good year and a half to ever play it.
Yep. And it'll probably be even longer than that.
Yeah.
They should have an asterisk next to the 2016.
That's true. Yeah, because, I backed Shovel Knight, and it took much, much longer to come out, which I'm fine with because the game turned out absolutely amazing on Wii U. But, with Kickstarter, you just never know. But I guess the other news right now, it's another day, another delay. Dead Island 2 has been delayed until 2016. Originally, they said it was supposed to come out this spring, so that's a pretty big delay. I don't really know. They didn't really say what they're changing, but it's getting pushed back just like everything else. I know you really like Dying Light right now, and that's from the makers of the first Dead Island. But is Dead Island 2 one you're going to be checking out?
Well, first of all, Dying Light, that's probably in my top 3 games so far this year.
Oh, wow.
That game is just, it's really good. I mean, you think it'd be the same as the others, but with the parkour, it controls really well. That's what I was surprised about. I didn't care for Dead Island. Okay. But this is just like a whole different experience. And so I really enjoyed that. But for Dead Island, I'm not surprised it's being delayed just because they need to do something different with this franchise. I feel it's just all becoming the same. They need to differentiate in some way from the zombie, stigma and it's too much zombies. Pretty much.
They're everywhere.
Stop the zombies.
That's right. I mean, and I really looked into Dying Light, and I was really looking forward to it because, I mean, Dead Island, I agree, it was pretty clunky, but I mean, I enjoyed it. It was fun, but I really loved Mirror's Edge, and so it kind of looked like it took Dead Island and mixed it with Mirror's Edge because I really like the parkour stuff from Mirror's Edge. So that might be a game, maybe around like Halloween or something when the prices dropped. Maybe I'll check it out then because there's other games around Halloween I want to check out, like Alien Isolation. Never got around to. I have this whole long list of horror games that I want to play around that time. Maybe start doing a bunch of Let's Plays on those. Real quick, I know with E3 is 5 weeks away, sir. 5 weeks.
Christmas in July.
That's right. June, sir.
Or June, yeah.
You don't even know what month it is.
A month ahead. Oh my gosh.
But real quick with some E3 news. Square Enix announced that they're actually going to have a press conference this year at E3, which is awesome. It's going to be on Tuesday. However, it's at the same time as Nintendo doing their whole E3 Nintendo Direct thing. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. Because are people going to like maybe just wait and watch Nintendo later because it's not live? Or, I mean, because all the audience is going to be going to Square Enix and see what they're doing. So I thought it was kind of interesting that Square Enix is playing in it at the same time as Nintendo. Do you think that's going to have any kind of impact on people seeing Nintendo's content?
Like you said, if you can watch Nintendo later, then I could see you doing that. I mean, if you had to choose, James, I think you would definitely do Nintendo anyway. Yeah,
pretty much, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But I mean, with Square Enix, though, that's really going to announce all the new Tomb Raider information. Because they're doing, so I mean, I'm kind of torn on that.
But at the same time, I mean, it's already games I guess. Like Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy 15, probably just a few other, maybe Bravely Default sequel. Yeah,
I think so. Maybe they'll announce
a new Hitman. I'll tell you what Bethesda. Yeah, I want to see that's the one I want to see because I'm because they'll definitely have Fallout 4, or else everybody will just go into a mad rage and cannibalize each other.
Right. Dude, so Fallout that's the 4, one I can't wait to see. If they announced Fallout 4, there's just a handful of games that I am so excited for this generation.
Oh my gosh.
Fallout 4 is one. It's like Fallout 4, Mirror's Edge 2, or whatever they're going to call it. I mean, there's those games, man, I'm like so pumped for that stuff. And Mass Effect. I'm hoping they show more off about that this year too.
Yes.
Those 3 games, man, when I see those, I'm like, this whole generation was worth it.
Starting to get it kicked in.
Right now, with all the re-releases and stuff, I'm just like, man, and another Gears, man, waiting for a new Gears game. I'm enjoying what's out. And, like, there are a lot of surprises, like Wolfenstein and, like, Sunset Overdrive. And there's a lot of stuff I'm really enjoying. But there's nothing this generation where I'm like, wow, I'm so glad it's a new generation of gaming right now.
Yeah, Bloodborne was probably the most could see the difference with me that I enjoyed the most. But yeah, there hasn't been that defining game.
Exactly.
I thought Silent Hills would be that, but
But also speaking of E3, they announced there's going to be a PC specific conference at E3. I don't remember when they said it was. I forgot to write that down in my notes, of course. But I mean, there are a lot of PC gamers. When you look at E3, you sort of notice there really aren't that many big news stories for PC gamers at E3. So I think that'll really help them sort of expand maybe some of the viewership on that.
Yeah, it seems like the PC market's starting to come back into prevalence.
Yeah,
again.
I mean, PC is, I mean, it has its ups and downs of people, I mean, I used to buy gaming PCs or, make my own PCs, but after a while, just for me, paying the money to keep updating it and make sure you have the proper graphic card to work with this proper game. I mean, I know they've streamlined a lot of that now, but I just haven't gotten back into building PCs again. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Plus, it's expensive.
Yes, it can be. It absolutely can be. The other news story I saw, and actually IGN put up a big story about this. They went into a huge kerfuffle. Batman Arkham Knight. Did you hear about the season pass for that?
Does that involve the co-op, whatever, their dual Batman, whatever?
Well, no, that's just part of the game. But what they're doing, do you buy the season passes when you buy your games, Josh?
Not really. BioShock Infinite, I got the season pass, but that was the last one.
Sure. I mean, I don't buy season passes that frequently either. There are a few I'd like. I actually got one for Titanfall, and I really enjoyed that, but Titanfall sort of fell off the map. That's the problem with buying season passes. You don't know if you're still going to be playing that game, that far out. I mean, I bought one for Mario Kart. Right. I'm super happy about that. But with Batman Arkham Knight, here's what's in it. And you tell me if it's worth the price. Every 6 months, they're going to release new content. So that includes story missions, more villains invading the city, a new legendary Batmobile, so you'll have more than just the basic Batmobile. They're doing challenge maps, new character skins, and racetracks for the Batmobile. Now, first of all, does that sound like good content to you?
So, first of all, every 6 months.
Every 6 months.
For how long?
I think it's.
Did they say how long?
I think it's for a few years. I believe. I mean, it's.
I guess they can't go on forever.
No.
They're still coming out with things like 50 years from now.
Exactly. But, okay, for all that content, how much would you pay for that?
For all that content?
For that content.
Oh, man. Like, most of them are like $20, $25.
Yeah.
Most.
This Batman Arkham Knight Season Pass is $40.
It's the cost of another game.
Exactly. So if you want to get all the content for Batman Arkham Knight without even getting any kind of special edition or anything like that, it will cost you $100. And the crazy thing with a game like that, they're going to have a Game of the Year edition coming out soon. It's going to include all that content, and it's going to be like $40, $50.
Right. So you just have to wait a year.
Exactly. I mean, do you think that is overdoing it in the price of digital content? I mean, to add onto your game, are you willing to give up a whole nother game just so you can play Batman a little bit longer? I mean, 6 months down the road, after you finish Batman, do you really think to yourself, man, I'd love to hop back in that game to fight a villain and play a challenge map and leave again?
Personally, I would not do that, but I know they're doing this because there are so many people that just want to buy that game and they'll just pay whatever,
exactly.
to have the full experience. So it's wise on their part, but, like us budget gamers,
exactly.
wait until a year after it's out. I bet Batman in like 6 months, that game will probably be about $30 anyway.
Yeah, and with that game, like for me, I feel like when it's spaced out that much, I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to do that. But then when I look back at Mario Kart 8, I mean, I bought that game when it came out. Then they released the first DLC pack, I believe it was in November, and that included Legend of Zelda tracks, and it included a bunch of new racers and everything, and new karts. But then the next pack, they said it's not coming out till May, and I thought, May? That's crazy. Am I still going to want to play Mario Kart and that far out? But the funny thing is, every time this DLC comes out, I hop right back into that game. I try to 3-star all the cups, and I remember how awesome that game is. So in a way, I felt like, man, I don't think I can wait that long. But then when it comes out, I'm like, this is awesome. I'm so glad they did this, and it brings me back playing that game again. But was
we got a clap for Nintendo actually doing DLC, right?
Yes, I mean their DLC. Yeah. All the DLC they've done this generation has actually been fantastic. And for all that content, you got 4 new cups. You got, let's see here. I'm trying to think how many racers you got. Was it 6 new racers, I believe? You got a bunch of new karts. All of that cost, I think it was $12.
That's a pretty good price.
Yeah, I mean, that's, when you think of the original game, that's like, I think half of what the original game was for course numbers. Wow. And it's $12. So comparing,
you can't beat that.
Exactly. Comparing that to something like what's going on with Batman, do you feel like Warner Brothers and Rocksteady, not necessarily, but in a way are kind of trying to take advantage of that hype behind that game.
I think Call of Duty Black Ops is doing something similar too, where it's like $50 for all the DLC.
Wow.
Something crazy. I mean, these companies are starting, I think they're on to something where they just know people are going to buy it and just ratchet up the price, you know?
Sure.
I mean, I wish companies would take a page from CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
For the Witcher developers, because they're still going to have, I think, $20 for 2 large DLC packs, but everything else is free.
Oh, wow. Like
skins and, armor and stuff like that. So that's the way I wish companies would do DLC.
Sure. I mean, so we'll see what happens. I mean, I feel like we've come a long way in DLC since Horse Armor in Oblivion. But we still have a long way to go because people are still trying to find out that sweet spot for pricing. And me personally, I feel like the $40 is just a little much.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. For us, anyway. Sure. If you have the money, go for it. Yeah, I mean,
sure. If you're, if you are Mr. Moneybags, go right for it.
Moneybags.
Although, knowing Bobby over the Geek Guru, it's so funny. We keep shouting out.
We always give a shout out. Yeah.
But with him, I know he is a Batman fanatic, and I know he was so hyped when they announced that Batman PS4. I'm pretty sure he's buying that DLC. No questions.
It's people like Bobby this is meant for.
The Batman super fan.
We love you, Bobby.
That's right. Well, real quick, we'll hop into the bargain hunter section of our news we call My Two Cents. Real quick, we'll hit up on PlayStation. With PlayStation, today's May 1st, so we've got the PlayStation Plus free games of the month. Brant, have you downloaded any of the free stuff yet?
Nah, I haven't played any of it. I've downloaded it,
cool.
But I haven't played.
On PS4 right now, they have Ether 1 and Guacamelee. If you haven't played Guacamelee yet, that game is fantastic. That one, I actually have that on the Xbox One because the month it came out, it was actually a free Games with Gold that month. So, I mean, Guacamelee is a fantastic game. Have you played through that yet, Brent?
No, that game is so good. I never have it for the PS4, but I played it on the Vita and PS3. Oh, yeah. I mean, for a platformer, it's pretty sweet. I like how the mechanics of, it's more like a brawler, but it's a side-scroller brawler.
And all the hidden, video game references and stuff throughout the world, on the posters and the people, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
If you haven't played that game yet,
recommend it.
If you haven't played that game yet, get it on PS4. On PlayStation 3, we have The Unfinished Swan and Race the Sun. And then on PlayStation Vita, we have Ho Hokum and Murasaki Baby. So I don't know what either of those games are.
Ho Hokum look like a nice experiment.
Okay.
This looks like something, soothing, like a Journey in a way.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really die, but...
Sure, okay.
Not on the level of Journey. Journey's transcendent.
So it's more one of those artsy experimental games that are just sort of there to...
Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, now, did you ever play Unfinished Swan on PS3?
Yeah.
How was that game?
I love that. That was a good game. Short, but the mechanics, I mean... When you first open up, you have these black paintballs, and you're just in this white room, and you can throw them everywhere. Eli loves that part. He'll just throw those black dots everywhere.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a good game, a good storytelling. I recommend it.
Okay, and also on the PlayStation right now, if you're looking to get a PlayStation, if you want to get that Destiny bundle they used to have, I don't know if they still have that or not anymore, but over at Target, if you buy a PS4, doesn't matter which one, they give you Destiny for free. So that might be one worth checking out. So if you get a PS4 bundle, make sure to get Destiny over at Target. And Amazon right now, if you're still looking to get that Vita, you can get a Vita on Amazon right now for $170.
What are you guys waiting for?
That's right.
No more excuses.
If you have a PlayStation 4, you have PlayStation Plus, why not? I mean, you're getting all these free games every month anyway. And if you're doing the smart thing, make sure to get on there and hit the download button on them, even if you don't have the Vita yet. Because it builds up those games. So when you log into your name on your Vita, you can still download all those games you've already accepted through PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, that's what I did for the PS4 before I got one.
I mean, that's definitely the smart way to go.
The only thing bad about the Vita is the memory card prices.
I forgot about that.
That's the only bummer. Sony, if you're listening, which I know you're not, please do something about it.
Are you saying we're not big enough for Sony to listen to us?
We're just a small voice in a world of hostileness.
The internet is a very scary place.
Yes.
We hope we bring a little bit of sunshine to your gloomy world. Oh, man. Well, real quick over on Xbox, like also with their free games, they've got their May Games with Gold out right now, which I haven't actually downloaded yet, but I'm going to get onto that. On Xbox One, they have Castle Storm, and then they also have Pool Nation FX, which is from last month. They just carried it over. They seem to do that with the games with gold on the Xbox One right now. They release one game, and then they'll randomly choose one of the two from last month to keep. I don't know. It's kind of strange. On Xbox 360, the first half of the month, they're going to have Mafia 2. And then for the second half of the month, they're having F1 2013 racing. So I'm not a big racing guy, but that's there for all those racing fans. Over at Target right now, if you're looking to pick up that Xbox One, for $350, so the normal cost of an Xbox One, you get it with the Master Chief Collection, and you get a $50 gift card on top of that. So if you want to get a second game, it's pretty much like getting another game for free. So that's nice. Over on Amazon, same price, $350, you can get the Xbox One Assassin's Creed bundle, which is Unity and Black Flag. It also comes with NBA 2K15 for free, and they also throw in 12 months of Xbox Live. So, I mean, if you're really not attached to getting the Master Chief Collection right away, and you're a fan of Assassin's Creed, that might be the way to go, because you get more games that way. Now, I think, if I remember right, NBA 2K15, was that the one that came out that wasn't as well received? Because I think two basketball games came out on Xbox One.
No, I think 2K15's okay. I think it was live or something like that. That was really sucked.
Gotcha.
But...
Yeah, because I remember at launch, two games came out and people weren't fans of one of them. But I'm not a big sports game guy. I mean, outside of Madden, and things like Mario Kart.
I remember when we used to play Madden all the time.
Oh, dude, Madden is so good.
We haven't played since Michael Vick's been on the cover
dude.
as a little Falcon.
That's so sad, because back in all through high school and into college, I bought Madden and NCAA every year, because I would buy NCAA and I'd play my guy through his college career, and they had that awesome feature where after you beat it, it would upgrade your guy to Madden, and you could transfer your guy into your Madden game and play through his whole NFL career. And I loved it. Every year I bought it. It was awesome. But, once you get married and, you get a budget and you got to cut some things out, I just haven't been playing Madden. It's been a long time. I bet if I pulled, because people complain that Madden is the same, very little iterations every year. But since I haven't played it in 4 or 5 years, I probably noticed a pretty big difference.
Oh, man. Yeah, I play them MLB The Show.
Oh, dude, the show is so good.
The one you want for the... Man, I was surprised. I was like, man, this game is really... It takes... But the only problem is to download it, it takes it's a full day.
Wow.
I'm not even joking. Or maybe that's my sucky internet. I don't know. But it was just ridiculous. But once you got into the game, it was pretty awesome.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, in MLB The Show, back when I had my PS3 and I had my PSP and stuff, I had the show on everything I could. That's one thing I really don't like about Xbox. There is no baseball game. The show was so...
RBI baseball.
Well, okay, that I don't really count that.
That doesn't count.
But the show is just, even if there were other baseball games out, the show would be a giant compared to these other games. The show is just such a good baseball game. If you're a baseball fan, you got a PlayStation, or even if you're not a huge, like me, I enjoy watching baseball, going to Reds games every now and then. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but the show, just the way the game is set up, the way you go through your seasons, it's just so good. It's just the management of your teams and the show is awesome.
I think FIFA and the show are two of the best sports games you can play.
And like I said, we're not even big sports game guys, and those games are awesome.
That's our little segment on sports games, and now it's over. That's all we know.
That's right. Real quick on Nintendo really doesn't have a lot of sales because they're Nintendo. But right now, if you head out to Toys R Us, they're doing buy one, get one 40% off on Amiibo. It's actually all Toys to Life, so things like Disney Infinity or Skylanders. I don't know if it's mix and match or not, but if you're one of those Amiibo hunters out there, like in the Geek Guru group, there's tons of Amiibo hunters out there, so that might be a place to look here coming up pretty soon. And talking of The Witcher, we don't talk about PC games that often, but both Witcher games, right now GameStop is having a sale on those games for PC, and they're both under $2 each. So if you want to get hyped up and ready for The Witcher 3, Because I don't think the first two Witcher games ever came to console. They were only PC specific, weren't they?
Nah. Witcher 2 came to Xbox 360.
Okay. But you can get the PC games of those for super cheap if you have a PC.
I wish The Witcher 2 came to Sony. It never did, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I would have loved to play that.
It's kind of funny how the roles reversed this generation, because last generation, the 360 got tons of exclusive. I mean, looking back on it, and the PS3 would get it like a lot later. Like Mass Effect stuff, it all came to the PS3, later. And there are certain games that never came to PS3. But this generation, it's the exact opposite. Everything's going to PS4.
The indies especially.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, indies are coming out in groves for the PlayStation, but not for Xbox.
Yeah, but a lot of the games are now starting to come over, like Octodad's coming out, and Shovel Knight just came out, and all those indie games are starting to come to Xbox One. One thing I'll need to absolutely check out when it comes to Xbox One, Ollie Ollie 2. If you guys remember, it actually reviewed Ollie Ollie 1, and it actually came to PS4 a few months ago, and it's still not on Xbox One. They've got the first one on there, but they don't have the second one. So I'm actually looking forward to that when that comes out.
Does it have Hotline Miami? Does Xbox have Hotline Miami?
I believe so.
They do?
I can't remember, because that was a game that I had on PS3 through PlayStation Plus and never got around to playing it because I just didn't have my interest in that game.
That game is awesome. Go back and play it.
Yeah, I can't. Remember, I got my PS3 stuff.
Oh, yeah. Get a Vita.
I'll just come over to your place and play. Actually, they have it on the Wii, I believe. Or is that's Retro City Rampage.
No, they would not. They would not have Hotline Miami on the Wii.
Well, they had Retro City Rampage.
How violent? What's
they
that?
had Retro City Rampage on the Wii.
That's not as
it's
violent.
It's not as violent. I mean, no, but I'm just the whole
Hotline Miami
violence.
is. I'm talking to the extreme here.
Oh, dude,
to the extreme. But
well, with that extreme statement, real quick, we're going to get into what we've been playing in the section we call Time Logged. Okay, Mr. Brandt, what have you been playing lately since the whole the show last weekend?
I've been playing through Bloodborne some more. Imagine that.
Well, what brought you back to the game? Like, why are you playing it again?
New game. I just wanted to play through New Game Plus just to see what's different. What amazes me is how much of a different experience it is when you delve into New Game Plus. Like, the bosses change, enemy placements change. I mean, it is. It's like a whole new game, and I mean, it's worth playing again. I mean, I'm enjoying it. It is a lot harder, though, and there was one time where the first time I played it, I didn't rage quit, but I've almost thrown my controller
that bad,
in rage. Yeah, but I still love that game. I'm Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin.
Yep.
I've been playing through that. I like what they did. If they do HD remakes of games, they need to take a page from what they did with Dark Souls 2, because enemy placements are different. There's new enemies. There's new armor, weapons. I mean, it's pretty awesome. They did like a full 360 on it, which is awesome.
And I mean, Bloodborne's one I would definitely check out. And, who knows? I doubt it. Did Sony? I don't know if Sony published it or not. I'm trying to think if it would ever have an opportunity to come to Xbox One. Just because, I mean, if it did, I'd probably check it out. Because Dark Souls eventually came around to Xbox. So who knows? I mean, maybe if it came to Xbox One, I'd probably check it out.
Yeah.
But
like I said, 3 years?
Yeah, right.
Can you wait 3 years like Mass Effect?
Is there anything else you've been playing lately, sir?
See, I just keep going back. Roguelike games I think that's just the best genre of gaming right now.
Sure.
I mean, I'm Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
When I've been playing on my Vita, I've been playing that. The more I play that game, the more I just love it for some reason. It's just has that quality. I mean, the items you get, it's just a different experience each time, and I just love it.
Sure. I mean, and that's a game that'll eventually come around to Xbox One. It's actually coming to Wii U as well. Another one, indie title I'm looking forward to, Don't Starve. I remember playing that over on your PS4. I'm actually looking forward to that. That's coming to Xbox One pretty soon, too. So
there's actually a new Don't Starve Together, I think it's called, where it's going to be a co-op.
That's right. I'm actually looking forward to that. That'd be pretty cool, man. check that out.
I might get back into it again with that.
Well, for me, as I mentioned last time, I picked up Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D on my 3DS. Dude, that game, I can't get over how gorgeous that game, like they really remastered that thing. Because recently, when they announced Majora's Mask 3D, I went back and played the original through my Wii. And dude, it's a gorgeous game. Like it looks like it's a brand new game. It's awesome.
Even on the DS, it looks that good.
That's right. On my 3DS, it even looks that good. But the other
3DS.
The other game I've been playing, with Shovel Knight recently coming out on Xbox One with the Battletoads content and all that, I've been doing Let's Plays on that. So if you follow our YouTube channel, or if you don't follow our YouTube channel, go follow our YouTube channel. Because we're starting to do more Let's Plays. On top of everything else we're doing, we're going to start doing more Let's Plays as well. So I'm actually doing a Let's Play for each night that I'm going through. I actually did one for the very first introductory stage. We fight the Black Knight for the first time. And then I made one for King Knight, who is the second knight of the game. But with that, I found out after I recorded it, somehow it messed up and didn't record my vocals on it. So I'm going to have to go back and fix that one. But I'm actually going to it only takes about 15 minutes or so to beat each night. So those Let's Plays are pretty short, but definitely go in there and check those out. I mean, that's a lot of fun, especially once I get to that Battletoad content. I'm pretty excited about that. Because like I was telling you before, Josh, it's like ripped right out of Battletoads. Because it's like, from what I saw, it's the three Battletoads, but it's like different parts of the game. The first Battletoad, you're like on a rope, being lowered down a tunnel, and you're like kicking from side to side like you did in the old games. And then you're riding on the speeder bikes. Like it's awesome, dude. It looks so cool. I can't wait to get there.
Bring back that hatred and demise that you have for that game.
I know, man.
It was a fun game, but man. As a kid, I just remember I actually did throw my controller.
Dude, that game is so difficult. But
oh my gosh.
The other game I've been playing lately with the Old Blood coming out next week, I've actually been playing through Wolfenstein The New Order again. I'm actually trying to 100% that with the achievement, so I've gone back. I'm playing on the hardest difficulty. And this time I'm actually using a guide to find all the collectibles because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. I'm going to try to 100% it. Because really all I have left to do in that game is pick up just a handful of collectibles and beat it on the hardest difficulty. But going back and playing that game again, I'm like, wow, this game is fantastic. I forgot how good this game was. Just story-wise, gameplay-wise, dude, I'm hooked on that game again. So I'm actually super pumped for The Old Blood that comes out next week, which is a prequel to Wolfenstein The New Order. It's only half the size. I think they said it takes about 7 hours to get through. It's about 8 chapters, but it's just sort of what happens before Wolfenstein: The New Order. So if you haven't played The New Order yet, go out and check out The Old Blood because it's standalone DLC. You don't need to be able to have the disc or play the original. So play through that, see if you like it, and if you do, go back and pick up The New Order because that game is fantastic. It's definitely like in my top 3.
It's only like $10 now.
Oh yeah, it's super cheap. But with that, real quick, we're just going to do a short topic of the week, but we'll get that when we come back. Okay, today, real quick for our topic of the week, we've, like I said, it's just me and Brant today, and somewhat unexpected because we decided to go weekly. But what we're going to talk about a little bit, because we've had some questions from different listeners, just sort of, how do you guys make your podcast? What goes into making your podcast? So, real quick, I just sort of wanted to go over some of the things we do, how we get it up on the site, what kind of equipment we use. Because I know we've had a lot of people asking that. We actually also sent out a brief thing to all our listeners saying, hey, are there any questions you want us to answer on the show? So from here on out, if you guys have questions for us, make sure to message us on Facebook or send us an email, lifeofgamingpodcast@yahoo.com with your questions. We'll make sure to answer those. So that's just one thing we really want to work into the show as we go forward, because we know you guys, we want this to be a two-way street. So not only will we have, different guests on the show, we want to have you guys on the show with us, our listeners. We actually even had Michael Ratliff actually asked, what are our E3 predictions? And, we were thinking about possibly discussing that now, but with E3 only 5 weeks away, we actually want to have a specific show just for that. So hopefully you guys look forward to that. And Michael, we will get to that question in the future. But real quick, just to talk about our podcast a little bit. I mean, Josh, you enjoy doing the show, right?
Oh, yeah. You know me, always talkative, and I hear I'm hiding in my corner over here. No, yeah, I love it, man. I don't get to talk like this to any other people, I get to type it in like groups on Facebook, right. But yeah, it's great just talking about it.
I mean, one thing I love about doing this show, we get to meet a lot of really interesting people, really great people. I mean, everyone we've met, it's just been great bringing them on, and because everybody has their own story of what they've been doing, why they're into gaming. I mean, and all this content they're doing, what inspired them to make that content. And with our podcast, Brant and I, we've been talking about it forever. We've been wanting to do this podcast for like years.
Yeah,
and one day we just sat down, we're like, let's just do it. So back in February, we just started. So we really hope you guys have been enjoying the show. One thing we do.
Yeah, and I just want to say another thing. Like you said, it's just so awesome to meet all these other people that are just into gaming like we are and doing their own side. I mean, you just meet so many awesome people, and that's, just such a blessing.
Sure. I mean, it really is awesome. And with Brant and I, we grew up together, like 15 minutes away from each other, as kids growing up. We went to the same school, we went to the same church growing up. But eventually, we both got married and sort of, got our own lives, so to speak. And Brant moved away. And so we always wanted to do this podcast. So everything we do it over Skype. I mean, we're both in Ohio, but, having him drive all the way here, me all the way there, it's quite a distance. So we actually record everything over Skype. And through that, I've got a professional CAD vocal mic. Back when Brant and I, through high school, we were in a band together. He was the drummer, I was a guitar player, vocalist. Our friend Dave was on bass. And during that time, we sort of had our own little recording studio. So I actually had this mic left over from that. And with that, it's an XLR, mic that needs phantom power. So, what we do with that, I actually bought a device you can find on Amazon or, online retailers. It's called a Blue Icicle. And what it does, it plugs in through your USB, and then you plug your XLR mic into the other end of it. And the great thing about it, not only does it make any XLR mic work on a PC through the USB, but it also sends phantom power to the mic. So mics like this, it's already good to go. I mean, it needs that phantom power, but this whole USB thing just sort of does that for you, which is awesome. And Brant, I know on your end, you're just using your gaming headset, really.
Right. I might not have the same quality as your mic, but I'm using a Playtonics rig right now.
Sure.
And then it does the job. I mean, just a simple $100 headset. And
yeah, I mean, perfect. Really, to get started, guys, you really don't need that much. Some people say, man, talking with Alan over at Full Fat Gaming, they've been wanting to get this thing started, and he kept saying, oh, but I need the mic, I need the music. And for Brant and I, we thought the same thing, but then we thought, you know what, let's just get started. And with that, I know we've been talking to Alan a lot, sort of, giving him some ideas and helping him. And he's actually been giving us a lot of feedback as well. That's one thing we want from you guys. We always want to make our show better. And so in order to do that, we need your feedback. So if you say, man, I hated that segment, or man,
I hated Josh's music intros.
I can't stand that man's beard.
Yeah.
But
turn the face off.
We want that feedback as well. And pretty much what we do, we just use our own recording software over this whole conversation. Pretty much on my end, I actually use Adobe Audition on my end. And the way I have it set up, I've got two channels running at the same time. I've got one channel, which is my microphone being recorded. And then I've got a separate channel, which is everybody else. What I did, I turned the stereo mix on my PC into what it thinks is a mic input. So pretty much I'm recording myself and Josh at the same time. But because everything is over Skype, and sometimes the quality isn't that great over Skype, we actually record our own audio separately, on our own computers. And after the podcast is done, he actually sends me his file of his audio. And then I use the file I have of both of us together to line up his file. So, I mean, to get the cleanest audio we can possible, that's the way we've been doing it. And Brant, what software are you using to record your audio with?
It's just the sound recorder.
Yeah,
Just the base sound recorder that comes with the software.
sure. I mean, and
you just
you've got a
type it in the
Windows
search
PC,
engine.
right? You've got a Windows PC?
Right.
Sure.
Windows 8. When does Windows 10 come out, by the way?
They said July. They said it's coming to PCs first, and then it's coming to tablets, and then eventually it's coming to phones. Because, as you know, I bring up every time, I got my Windows phone. I love my Windows phone, but I'm
Mr. Microsoft.
That's right. I'm looking forward to Windows 10. I'm pretty excited about that. I forget how many billions of devices they said it's going to, because the great thing about Windows 10, it's going to be free. So if you have, a previous version of Windows, you should be able to upgrade. I think I'm trying to think which version of Windows gets it. But I think at least the past two versions of Windows, like Windows 8 and Windows 7, I believe, are both getting Windows 10 for free. So that's something I'm pretty looking forward to upgrading. Although my PC's pretty old. Hopefully it can handle Windows 10.
Yeah.
I know my tablet will, I know my phone will, but my PC, it's pretty ancient. So the thing to draw from this, guys, if you want to make content, especially a podcast, all you really need, Skype, some microphones, and recording software. And
motivation.
That's right. Honestly, guys, the hardest part is getting started. Once you get started, you go. I mean, for Brant and I, we did that first podcast. We had no idea we were going with it. We're like, let's just do it and see what happens. And then after that first episode, we're like, well, what do we want to do with it? And during that time, it's kind of one of those things where you don't notice something going on until you start doing it yourself. Like when we started making content, then I noticed, oh my gosh, all these other people are making content out there too. This is really awesome. We should build a community around that. And so from that, we sort of started getting in touch with all these content creators and said, we need to have them on our show. We got to show everybody, because like with us, it took us forever to get started, to have that motivation. But when you see there's all these people out there making that content, it sort of gives you that motivation, thinking, yeah, I can do that too. I know with video content, it's a little more complicated, especially if you want to do, Let's Plays, the Elgato capture cards and things like that to record it into your system. Although for Brant and I, for my Let's Plays, I do it all through Twitch. Because on Xbox One, there's a Twitch app, and you can actually set up Twitch to record your broadcasts. And so that's pretty much the way I've been doing my Let's Plays. I just do it all through Twitch and have it recorded all for me. Because on the Xbox One, I believe it's only 5 minutes of recording time, at a time. And so since I wanted my Let's Plays to be a little bit longer than that, I had to find another alternative until I could sort of afford to get that kind of capture software to do more than that. I mean, that sort of makes my Let's Plays exclusive to the Xbox One, but it's better to be making something than nothing at all. And Brant, how are you doing?
I
your
love the
stuff?
The share function on the PS4 is just so easy to use. I mean, they have it built right at YouTube, Facebook built right in. But like I said, we usually post ours on YouTube, so I can just go right there. You just click it, record, click, 15 minutes, click it again, you're done. Then you just send it over, and it'll take about usually 2 hours for it to fully be embedded into the YouTube channel, but after that, it runs great.
Yep. And I mean, honestly, guys, all you really need to get started, like we said, motivation and a little bit of research. If you want to do your Let's Plays, you can do them through Twitch. You can do them through the share on your PlayStation. If you want to do a podcast, like we said, there's a lot of free software out there. There is a free audio program. You can get them from all over the place. Audacity. A lot of people use Audacity. And I mean, it's a free program you can download and you can record straight to that. I mean, there's all sorts of ways. If you want to do it and you've got the will to do it, there's absolutely a way, guys.
And guys, do not be afraid if you're nervous about it. As you can see in some episodes, I am not the best talker. I never have been and never will be.
What are we talking about again?
Yeah.
If you guys didn't listen to our last episode, check that out.
Yeah, it's hilarious. At least I made it funny. Right. I'm just, this avenue of speaking, I mean, it's really helped me just grow. And just don't have any reservations. Just be yourself. Go out there, and it's a good time.
Absolutely.
Just do it with someone. Like, I've heard some people try to get this started with people they don't know, which can work, but you just want to be careful. Sure. I think it's best with people that you know, so you know what their tendencies are.
And one thing I'll say about this, because with Brant, we've been friends for so long, we got that chemistry there, and that really helps. But now I'm trying to think where I was going with that.
You're pulling a Brant.
I am. We should totally make that a thing. Everybody get on Twitter and hashtag pulling a Brant.
Brain fart, pulling a Brant. That's right. There you go.
But yeah, guys, I mean, and I know where I was going with that. All the guests we've had so far on the show, if I remember right, we have been, except for Warp Whistle, we have been their first podcast. And if you listen to them, I mean, you can't tell it was their first podcast. I mean, everyone, when you come on the show, we want to make sure you feel comfortable. So, we have conversations with our guests a little bit beforehand, get to know each other a little bit better before we actually start recording. And I mean, really what you need to do for Brant and I, one thing we did before we even started, we said, let's see if we can do this. Let's make it episode 0 is sort of what we called it. And we went ahead and we recorded a podcast, which you guys have never heard and probably never will.
Never will.
But what we did for that, it was sort of like a test to see, can we do this? And we sent it off to some of our close friends who, we respected their opinion and just said, hey, check this out. Listen to this. Do you think this works? And we got enough positive feedback from that. We got some, not really negative feedback, but feedback to help us sort of figure out how to bring it in, make it tighter. So that's one thing I would suggest, because first of all, that helps get the nerves out. Before you ever have your first episode, you get to do that test episode, share it with some people that you trust, and just get their opinion on that. And honestly, I mean, if you ask us, say, hey guys, how's this sound? Does this sound good? And if you want to check us out, we'll check out any of your content. We're always happy to do that and help you guys out. Because really what we made this for is to share content with our friends and just to share content with you guys. I mean, we love seeing all this stuff get created. We want to support you guys in any way that we can.
Yeah, seeing all these different video game avenues, and like I said, meeting new people is probably the best part of this. I mean, Alan, Bobby,
it's been great.
Corey.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, everybody. Yeah, Josh. It's been great.
And Mark last week. Mark was fantastic.
Yeah, Mark.
I mean, and just getting to know these people and the content that they're creating and sort of how they do it, because everybody has their own way to do it. Just what we talked about now, I mean, that's just our way. Some people might listen to that and be like, wow, they're doing that very stupidly. They might think we're total idiots. But I mean, this is what we found that works for us. I mean, really what you need to do is find that niche, find what works for you and how you can best express yourself, whether it be through video. Maybe it's writing reviews. Maybe you don't want people to hear your voice or see your face. I mean, in Brant's case, that's probably for the best. But I mean, oh dude, I love you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But maybe it's just writing reviews. Whatever it is you want to do it. I mean, you only got one life to live, so just go for it, man. What do you got to lose?
Exactly.
And, once you get a couple things created, let us know. We'll have you come on the show and talk about it. I mean, just to get that word out there about what you're doing. So hopefully this episode has kind of given you guys an insight into what we do. Because we've had a lot of people ask us that, what mics you're using, what software you're using. One other thing I want to shout out to real quick, the server we use for our podcast is through a company called Signal Leaf. And that service is absolutely awesome. The creator of that, I've been emailing him back and forth, Derek. I mean, he's been awesome. Any questions we ever have, he's always been there right away to answer. Doesn't matter what time of day, he's always there to help us out. They've got a great blog on that website saying, if you want a podcast, here's some things you should know. Here's what bitrate you should save at. Here's what you should do. Here's what kind of audience you should go for. I mean, he's got pages and pages of blogs of how to make a podcast. And that's really where I'd started when I was looking into this. So if you want a place to look, if you're looking about getting into a podcast, go to signalleaf.com, check that out. That has been awesome.
Yeah, they have been incredible.
Yep.
And another thing, you can, like I said, I have the most minimalist software, computer,
That's
mic,
right.
and I'm still doing this.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, there's really no excuse.
And the show wouldn't be the same without you, sir.
It'd be a lot better.
No, man, it'd be a lot worse. Because I'd be on my own and we'd really have a problem. But
talking to yourself.
That's right. Just talking to myself. Oh, man. The captain, myself, and I. Oh, man. But we really hope you guys have enjoyed the show. And the big announcement this week, going weekly. So hopefully you guys don't mind hearing us every week.
Yeah.
Going right into your ears. But with that, like I said, next week, we're going to have a guest like we always have. And then after that, you're going to get a little crazy stuff. So we'll see what works, what doesn't work. And hopefully you guys will go along on the ride with us.
If you will.
That's right. And don't forget, you can find us. We're on iTunes. Make sure to rate us on iTunes. We're also on the Microsoft MP3 store. We are on Facebook. We're on Google+. You can also find us on Twitter at Life of Gaming Pod. And where else can people find you, Brant?
At Minus the Brant.
And then what about your Twitch channel? Is that also Minus the Brant?
Yes.
Awesome.
Everything I have is Minus the Brant.
So make sure to check that.
And if it's derived, Minus the Bear, awesome band. Check them out, please.
Real quick, speaking of music, man, the Children 18-3 album, the more I listen to that new album called Come In, like at first I'm like, okay, this album's good. And then I was like, well, it's a little bit slower than their old stuff. For some reason, it's their last album. They're breaking up. It's the last album. And for some reason with last albums, they always tend to be a little slower. And so I wasn't digging it that much. But now the more I listen to it, it's starting to grow on me again. So it's a pretty good album.
Yeah. I mean, actually, it's one of my top albums this year.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm actually growing to love it a lot. That Come In song, I just wish it was longer. I love that song.
I mean, for me, I think Reigns of Comin' is my favorite album of theirs. But I think that this album is pretty strong. It's a good show. If you like punk music, check it out.
A good way to go out.
That's right.
Let's say that.
Well, real quick, just so you guys know how to find me, at JamesPlus12 on Twitter. You can also find my Twitch channel, which is Jamester0722. So make sure to check that out. We're going to be trying to be putting out a lot more content, weekly podcast, more Let's Play videos, so make sure to check those out. Eventually, we're going to start getting into some video casts, so hopefully you check those out as well. And we hope you enjoyed this show, guys. And until next time, we're out.
Bye.